with a sweeping view of Buckingham Palace during a grand ball, capturing the splendor of the Victorian era. The camera glides through the lavishly decorated ballroom, where high society mingles. Lavish gowns and tailored suits shimmer under the candlelit chandeliers. The strings of a waltz fill the air, and the camera lingers on conversations that reflect both the idle chatter and the underlying tensions of court life. Servants move seamlessly among the guests, ensuring every need is met. As an observer, you feel both the majesty and the suffocating nature of this strict social order. Prince Edward, a young man in his mid-20s, stands apart from the festivities. We find him on a majestic balcony, draped in shadows and bathed in moonlight. He gazes thoughtfully over the palace gardens, a vista of meticulous hedgerows and ornate fountains. Edward's expression reveals a complex mix of duty, melancholy, and yearning for freedom. Internal monologue or flashback scenes might touch upon his upbringing, the weight of expectations, and glimpses of early moments that foreshadow his meeting with Emma. In a secluded part of the vast palace gardens, away from prying eyes, Edward meets Emma. Tonight their secret meeting is veiled by the night and the soft glow of lanterns. Emma's background is distinct from Edward's privileged life, yet her grace and intelligence draw him to her. As they converse in hushed tones, their dialogue reveals their genuine affection and shared dreams. Their relationship is tender and genuine, depicted through shared laughter, stories of childhood, and stolen kisses. The garden around them teems with life. Crickets sing and a distant owl hoots, nestling them in their world. The narrative delves into a montage exploring their blossoming relationship over time. They share stolen afternoons in the countryside, away from the rigid confines of the palace. Scenes show them picnicking by a gently flowing stream, reading poetry under a willow tree, and exploring the vibrant markets of the nearby town under disguise. These episodes highlight their shared dreams and aspirations, and their love grows with each passing stolen moment. It is a love unconfined by social status, rich with heartfelt confessions and playful antics, underscoring the light and joy they find in each other's presence. The tone shifts drastically as we return to the palace, focusing on Queen Victoria in her private study. Her power and presence are formidable as she sits amidst portraits of ancestors and a carefully arranged desk. A letter lies open before her, having unveiled the secret of Edward's affair. Her expression hardens as she contemplates the ramifications of the scandal on the monarchy. Her internal turmoil is palpable, torn between the protective instincts of a mother and the obligations of a sovereign. Advisors whisper in the shadows, and her displeasure is palpable, setting the stage for the couple's unfolding challenges. In a softly lit chamber, Edward and Emma face the crisis together. The room is intimate but shadowed, reflecting the gravity of their conversation. They whisper in earnest, discussing their options and the sacrifices needed to preserve their love. Emma is worried about the backlash Edward could face, while Edward reassures her of his commitment. Their discussion is laden with fear, hope, and the inevitability of difficult choices. The scene is heart-wrenching, emphasizing their emotional connection and the societal barriers they face. Determined and resolved, Edward and Emma plan to escape the constraints of royal life. The narrative expands as they stand at the edge of a cliff, overlooking an endless sea that represents the freedom they yearn for. They consider potential sanctuaries across distant lands, discussing places far from the scandal's reach where they could live anonymously and freely. The wind-swept cliff, the roaring sea, and the star-studded sky create a dramatic setting for their resolve. There's a palpable mix of hope and anxiety as they hold hands, vowing to sacrifice everything for their love. Back in the grandeur of the palace, Edward faces a council of advisors in a resplendent hall. The room is filled with noblemen and courtiers, their expressions ranging from concern to disdain. Edward grapples with their insistence on his royal duties and the continuance of his public persona over his private desires. His internal struggle is visible, the weight of his responsibilities coming into stark relief. This scene is pivotal, highlighting Edward's brave yet heartbreaking confrontation between duty and love. The voices of the advisors echo, underscoring the isolation Edward feels despite the crowded room. The story escalates as the scandal becomes public, conveyed through the bustling scenes of a London market. Papers carrying the revelation of Edward's affair are rapidly bought and shared among the populace. Curious onlookers and society's gossipers eagerly discuss every detail, adding layers of speculation and exaggeration to the truth. The camera captures the headlines and people's reactions, shock, intrigue, and even sympathy, creating a societal cross-section impacted by the royal developments. The spread of news represents the breach of privacy and the unstoppable tide of public scrutiny. A poignant scene unfolds as Emma prepares to leave the palace. The morning mist blankets the cobblestone streets as her carriage, somber and unadorned, is prepared. Emma takes a final glance at the majestic palace, her eyes filled with love and sorrow. The scene is rich with emotion, capturing the heartache of parting. As the carriage door closes and the horse-drawn vehicle pulls away, the palace fades into the mist, symbolizing a chapter closing in both their lives. The viewers are left with a sense of loss, intertwined with the dignity of Emma's sacrifice. Left alone in the echoing corridors of the palace, Edward finds solitude in his private study. The room is lined with books and mementos from a more innocent time. He holds a delicate locket containing Emma's likeness, his fingers brushing its surface as he reflects on their love. The atmosphere is serene but heavy, the faint sound of a crackling hearth accentuating the silence. Edward resolves to honor their love quietly, embracing the memory of what they shared, and finding strength in her absence. Seasons unfold through the vibrant landscape of the palace gardens, each one marking the passage of time and Edward's evolving emotions. Spring arrives with fresh blossoms, symbolizing new beginnings. Summer's lush greenery reflects life and growth. Autumn brings a cascade of golden leaves, representing change, and winter blankets the gardens in snow, epitomizing clarity and acceptance. This sequence embodies Edward's journey toward peace and acceptance, finding solace in the rhythm of nature and the enduring beauty of life's cycles. Unexpected hope arrives in the form of a letter from Emma, now living in another country. The scene unfolds with Edward standing by a window, the morning sun casting a hopeful glow as he opens the carefully folded paper. Emma's words are heartfelt, filled with assurances of her well-being and the unbroken bond of their love. Her letter renews his spirit and resolve, reminding him that their connection transcends distance. This moment brings a renewed sense of purpose and hope, infusing the story with the possibility of future reconciliation. Many years later, an older Edward sits comfortably in a sunlit study, surrounded by the warmth of family mementos and the laughter of his grandchildren. The room is cozy, filled with books and the gentle ticking of a clock. He recounts the tale of his youthful love, using it as a lesson of courage and heart to a rapt audience of young faces. His grandchildren listen intently, their eyes wide with wonderment and admiration. This scene captures the endurance of love and legacy, highlighting the wisdom imparted from one generation to the next. The narrative momentarily shifts to a symbolic montage, focusing on a royal crown lying gently beside a simple daisy. This poignant contrast serves as a metaphor for the story's core theme, that love is the ultimate unifier, capable of bridging vast divides of class and convention. The images speak to love's simplicity and strength, reflecting its ability to outshine even the greatest of crowns or earthly treasures. As the story concludes, a montage of Edward and Emma's joyful moments together plays against the backdrop of idyllic Victorian landscapes. These snippets of shared laughter, whispers in the gardens, and gentle embraces leave a lasting impression of love's enduring strength. The scenes fade gently, leaving viewers with a sense of completion and warmth, underscoring the timeless nature of their story. The story of Edward and Emma is revealed to be one of eternal love and resilience, offering enduring inspiration long after the tale ends.